Yahweh and his Asherah is not what the inscription says in the pottery found at Sinai that dates to around the 8th century BCE. It actually says that it's a blessing being given by Yahweh and by Asherata. And the picture is not a picture depiction of Yahweh and Asherah, because if you examine closely the image, they both have a third leg. All right, so these are two males, and scholars understand that it's a depiction of the Egyptian god Bes, all right, and similar figures. So it has nothing to do with depicting Yahweh or Asherah on this pottery. It's just evidence of wayward Israel being in idolatry, accepting the gods of both the Egyptians and the Canaanites, as well as Yahweh. This is yet another source of translators of this inscription that explains that it says by Yahweh and by Asherata. So there's multiple sources that explain the same thing. At the Soleb temple located in Sudan, they have an inscription from the Egyptians. It was an Egyptian temple because the Egyptians controlled this location way back in the day. We're talking about 1400, 1500 BCE when this inscription was made, talking about nomads of Yahweh. This describes the Israelites as nomads in the wilderness and their God Yahweh as one of the earliest mentions of the God of Israel. So there is no evidence to suggest that the pottery is some sort of evidence from the 8th century BCE that somehow Yahweh was part of a Canaanite pantheon, or that the Israelites first worshipped El Elyon from the Canaanite pantheon and that he transformed into Yahweh. That can't be possible according to the archaeological evidence. And we have the fact of the matter that in the Torah of the Dead Sea Scrolls, they mention Yahweh all throughout from Genesis to Deuteronomy, that Yahweh is the God of Israel. Therefore, there's no evidence to suggest that the Israelites worshipped El from the Canaanites and then that El from the Canaanites became Yahweh. That's a false claim made by different biblical scholars that are simply denying the facts and the context of the scriptures. So it is true that there's no archaeological evidence that lists Yahweh as a member of any Canaanite pantheon. And here's the evidence that the Soleb Temple inscription in Sudan was built by Pharaoh Amenhotep III in the late 15th century, early 14th century BCE.